Welcome back, fellow travelers. My name is John, and today we continue our adventure through Iceland. In this part of the journey, we begin in one of the most unique places in the world, the Blue Lagoon, surrounded by geothermally heated aqua blue waters. From there, we'll travel to a place where you can stand on two continents at the same time, walking through a landscape shaped by powerful forces beneath the earth. And as the journey slows down, we'll end with a quiet moment, fishing along a river, taking in the peaceful side of this incredible country. So come along with me as we continue exploring unforgettable places. Let me remind you where we begin. All right, here's Greenland. Here's our little country of Iceland, right out here in the North Atlantic. So come go with me today. Next day we got to visit, I guess a lot of us highlights of the trip. It is called the Blue Lagoon. And as you can see in those pictures, it's an aqua blue pool. All of that water in there is mineral rich, superheated seawater. It has a constant temperature of between like 98 and 102 degrees. When we got there, I was really glad that I had packed my bathing suit because even though you might look in there and think they allow skinny dipping, they don't. And so it's just like a gigantic jacuzzi. And it was kind of hard to break away from there. It was cold the time we actually visited there. As soon as the clouds would, cover part of Iceland, the temperature dropped pretty good. And even in the summertime, lots of times we wore a jacket. When we got there, we were wearing jackets, and when we shucked them off and got in that thing, boy, it felt wonderful. It was quite a nice pre-lunch surprise. There are places on this island that you just have to basically see it to believe it. And everything geologically is so new here. You think about things in geology being millions of years, just long periods of time, but here things are very, very new. One of the things that you get to observe here that's very, very interesting is in 1973 had a really bad volcanic eruption, and some of you remember it actually shut down the airports in Europe because there's so much ash in the air. And these pictures are results of that eruption. And it actually created a new mountain, which you see here in this picture. And you can see the cone shape of that mountain that we got to visit. And that eruption became very dangerous to this town right here called Himmelsley. And this rim right here is exactly right where the lava stopped. And the only reason it stopped, these people finally figured out if they pumped enough cold water on it, they could slow that advance of that eruption. Finally, it stopped right at the edge of the city, and you can see it almost closed up the harbor, which was very important because that's how the ship would go out to do, the fishing. It actually covered a good part. I think it covered like 400 homes in that city before it, stopped. And so they were kind of going now and excavating back to those homes. And it kind of has a nickname now of Pompeii of the North. It was quite interesting to see how they had dug all this out. They were actually naming the houses that they were uncovering. So that was a little unique. I enjoyed seeing that. One of the nice things about being on a ship is when we boarded back aboard that night while we were having dinner, they actually sailed around this island, Egla, the name of it. And it's the mountain right off the coast there that was created during this volcanic eruption, the island called Surtsey. And these different pictures show you all around, just totally volcanic. You can see these different views as we sailed around. It's the newest island on the planet. Actually, what they've done is made it a UNESCO heritage site. Usually you think about that being some really exotic sort of place that you can visit and, being protected because of how old it is and that type of thing. Well, this one's being protected by how new it is. And the idea is that they don't want any unpermitted human beings to walk on that island because they want to see how things will develop without them being contaminated with any like foreign plants or diseases or anything that would be transmitted by somebody being on that island. So you can't really go there. There's only like people studying the environment and plants to see how the land basically forms itself. So we actually went to dinner that night with that view. These last two views right here were taken from the Zodiacs and took pictures of the ship going around this newly formed island. Next day we got to visit these Floss waterfalls. Very dramatic. We got to walk around them and down, not under them, but almost under them. And we visited with this couple on this machine they had invented. They had come a long way apparently and looked like they were determined to go another long distance. They were packed up, ready to go, and we enjoyed visiting with them. And after we visited that waterfall, probably the most memorable thing on this entire trip for me, I'm kind of a amateur geologist, and I love this. I want you to basically just take time to look. What you're actually looking at are the two tectonic plates separating. And I know you've all heard all of this in school, probably your whole life, about the tectonic plates shifting. What you basically see here, you can walk between the Eurasian, the Asia, and American tectonic plate, and it is something to behold. I just couldn't get over walking down these paths where these two plates are splitting the earth apart. And when you are down in there, this is the first thing that you basically feel is like, what happens if that thing closes back up? So you can walk all the way down, and many people did, and I was one of them. You can walk all the way to the end where it sort of fades out. And you get to the end, in this picture right here, where that crack is basically just beginning to crack right there. And you can actually step across that crack with one step and be able to cross two tectonic plates. What a memory it really was. And you just see all kind of rock formations around it, show like what a violent, environment Iceland is. One of the treats that we enjoyed that day is we went to see the Icelandic ponies. And they are so beautiful. They've been on this island. They were transported here by the early settlers, and they've been here like 1,000 years. And they have never been crossbred because they're so isolated. No other horses have been brought here, and they're very protective about letting these horses leave here. We had a demonstration, and apparently what's really unique about them is the gait at which the horse runs. And you can tell in this picture right here, that unique gait, the horse can be going as fast as it can go, but the rider is just completely still. The horse's back doesn't move. We were fascinated by the fact that the rider would hold up like an almost full glass of beer, and it wouldn't even shake out of that. The horse would be just galloping full speed. This is a cute little boy. This was a family that was putting on this demonstration for us. And this was a cute little boy. And he obviously was learning exactly how all this worked. And I thought this was a cute picture of the family taking a bow. And the little boy just checking all this out and kind of learning what to do. So nothing would do, we'd get to go pat the horses, and they were just beautiful. Kind of want to take one of them home. They were really nice animals. Claudia's pretty good whenever we get any spare time. She's always looking for something to do that we've never done before. And she ran up on a shop, a guy selling bicycles, and she spied this two-wheel motorized vehicle there. And we had actually never seen one of these in real life. Of course, they're a little more common now. These, you call them Segways. And the guy, I guess, took a liking to us. He locked the shop up and gave us a 30-minute demonstration. Taught us how to ride these things. Didn't take too long. And when we got through, he said, would you like a tour of the town? And we said, yeah, we got plenty of time. So he took us on about an hour-long tour around town on these Segways. He just emphasized to us, what wonderful people you meet traveling. It's so much spontaneity, in traveling. So we had a good time. That was the end of our cruise. We got off the ship that day. But one last thought about Iceland. Claudia and I love to fish. It doesn't really matter where we go. We love to fish. We fish for piranha down in the Amazon and Pacific sailfish off of Guatemala. Even in our hometown, areas around the beach. We love to fish for spot-tailed bass. It really doesn't matter. We love it all. And so 5 months before we left on this trip, we decided that fishing for salmon in Iceland would be just a real treat. So we hooked up by email with a guy named Herma. He owns Go Fishing Iceland outfitter. And after about 5 months of back and forth emails, he got us lined up. Iceland is much like Europe, that all the fishing rights are private, and you have to pay for them, and you have to be a member of a club. And so you can see in these pictures right here, all the rivers along the way have these little houses built on them where people can go in and stay warm and drink coffee and whatever. But you have to have a permit to fish. We were with Herman a couple of days there, and he was kind enough to give us a tour of the interior of Iceland, which we had not seen because we were on the coast on the ship. We just took these pictures to show you how beautiful this country is. We had pretty good luck fishing, enjoyed that, and so it was just a wonderful ending to a great trip. I hope you get to go someday. I hope that you'll join us next week, and we will visit a brand new place. Iceland is one of those places of long-lasting memories, not just of what you've seen, but how it made you feel. It's a land where fire and ice exist side by side, where the past and present are always connected, and where every turn seems to remind you of just how powerful and peaceful nature can be. It's a journey I won't soon forget. If you enjoy this journey, be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. And you can find the books of short stories I've written about the great outdoors over on my website, so be sure to check it out. On our next adventure, we'll be exploring the countries of the Arabian Peninsula to experience a completely different kind of landscape and culture. Until then, keep making memories in this great outdoors with those you cherish the most. And let's keep exploring this amazing world together. God bless.